the Pistons in particular, there's a couple players I think that can be traded. If I'll be honest, like my prediction is the roster that is in place right now is more than likely going to be the roster on opening night. But that still leaves, the trade deadline and stuff like that. And they still could make a move. Was there any moves, maybe a mock trade or a player, a destination for a player on the Pistons roster that you could think of right now?
I actually do. I'm gonna name one I found actually today, then I'll name the other that I think I told you about not too long ago. Um, but so it's a trade for the Pistons to trade Marvin Bagley III and Killian Hayes to the Raptors for Otto Porter Jr. and then I don't is it Otto Porter Jr.? I can't remember. Hold on. It was
I don't know if I haven't been keeping up with Otto Porter
hold
Jr.
on.
if I'm being honest, but yeah, while you're looking that up, like the two
Yeah,
players that
I'll
come to
let you
mind.
go and I'll find it.
But yeah, just like Bojan Bogdanovic, he's going to get traded at the trade deadline. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. And I think us speculating and wasting our breath on that. I think the Pistons, he fits well with this team. He's a good veteran for this team. So I don't think he's going to get traded right now. I mean, if there are some teams at the trade deadline, obviously a lot can change in the NBA. I think the Dallas Mavericks have been rumored. I do like Josh Green. He's a young player on the Mavericks. I don't know if you could necessarily get him for Bojan Bogdanovic. But yeah, I just think a veteran team at the trade deadline is going to be the ideal landing spot for him because he did sign that 2-year extension. So the team that's
Yeah.
trading for him is going to get him for the rest of this season and then the entirety of next season. If we're talking about Killian Hayes, it just doesn't make any sense to trade him right now because I just don't think he has any trade value. I
I think he
understand.
actually boosted his trade value at the end of the season.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but what are you realistically getting for Killian Hayes if you trade him right now?
Second round picks.
Yeah.
Second round picks and maybe a veteran.
I mean, I would rather trade Monty Morris at the trade deadline. Like, I think what's going to happen is obviously K is going to be your starter. And then you're going to have Monty Morris and Killian Hayes fighting for that backup position. And I think it's going to be good. It's going to breed competition. It's going to elevate it's going to elevate Killian. And eventually the hope is Killian can overtake Monty Morris and be the backup point guard. But if he doesn't, then you're going to have to make a decision at the trade deadline. But I think the first half of the season is going to be kind of a trial run for Monty Morris and Killian Hayes to see who is going to get that backup position for the second half of the season. Because I do think at the end of the day, one of those two players are going to be traded by the trade deadline.
I do got the trade up. So it is, press the file tab. Marvin Bagley III, Killian Hayes to the Toronto Raptors. That's it. Detroit would receive Malachi Flynn, Otto Porter Jr., Thaddeus Young, a 2026 second round pick, and a 2027 second round pick.
I mean, you said
Veteran
Flynn.
experience.
You do get some veterans, yes. To me, I mean, it's fine. Like to me, Bagley and Killian just don't have any trade value. So I guess the Pistons are getting better because of that. But I just think in terms of Bagley, I think he'll probably be on this team for most of this season. Maybe he gets traded at the deadline, but he has that a team option after this year. So they'll probably just cut bait with him after this year to clear up
Hey,
the
why not get
ridiculous.
something for him though? You know?
Yeah, if you can, maybe a second round pick or two. But yeah, I think he's going to be off this team because the ridiculous amount of cap space they have in going into next offseason. I think that's a great topic for another podcast. Is kind of looking at the restricted free agents and the unrestricted free agents of next year's free agency that the Pistons could potentially target. But yeah, I think Marvin Bagley is definitely a trade candidate. To me, my prediction would be either Monte Morris or Killian Hayes is moved at the deadline, and then Bojan Bogdanovic and maybe Joe Harris. But I do think it'll be a very active trade deadline for the Pistons, and I think that'll be a good thing because Asar Thompson will have some NBA minutes. Marcus Sasser will have some minutes. So those guys will hopefully be able to take on bigger roles as you're moving out these veterans. For maybe you get a rental player or a young player, or probably just some second round picks. I mean, Boyan will get you a first round pick easily, but I think the rest of those guys, maybe Alec Burks, but even then, I don't think, other than Boyan Bogdanovic, I don't think anyone on this roster, any of the veterans, are going to be able to get the Pistons a first round pick.